everyone has a agenda packet, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then what was your name? What was your
You
name?
got this number?
Okay. Here we go.
It's a different one.
He didn't think he needs this one.
It's a different one. Yeah, it's a different one.
June 16th.
That's for another agency. That's for the groundwater sustainability. You can go on that committee too.
You ready then? Call to order the meeting agenda for Porterville Area Development Authority, Porterville City Hall, Council Chambers, 291 North Main Street, Porterville, California, 93257, Friday, June 16th, 2023, at 3 p.m. The time is 3:04. Would someone like to take a roll call?
Okay, I'm scared. Tribe ex officio member Neil Payron? No? Okay. City ex officio member John Wallace?
Present.
Tribe member Vernon Vera? City member Don Wyrock?
Present.
Secretary Baldo Rodriguez? Vice President Raymond Beltran?
Present.
And President Shine Nieto.
Present.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. I guess we could go with the Pledge of Allegiance. Someone lead the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please stand. Salute. Pledge.
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on. Oral communications. Anybody got any oral communications?
None?
None at this time. Schedule matters. Number one, city reimbursement of eligible expenses and construction update of tertiary treatment wastewater facility, collection system, and recycled waste infrastructure project.
So thank you, Your Honor. There is the single item as part of this scheduled matter, which is to consider reimbursement, approved reimbursement of $651,841.30. Billing was reviewed by city staff and is submitted to the board for consideration for reimbursement.
Okay, thank you. Is there any comments or concerns with that? Moving along.
I just had a brief question. Everything looks like it's basically complete. Do we know if the tertiary plant is able to operate and come online without the standby generator? 'Cause I noticed that's the one that's not.
Not yet. Let's see, it just received power yesterday. They'll have to be commission the facility, do a tracer study, and then go through state permitting. So that's to be determined with an expectation that it be operational by end of August.
Okay, so we have some time. Okay. I wasn't sure if we're waiting for the standby generator or if we could function without it and it can go through its normal. We have to wait till all that's.
Right, the one that'll give us the green light to operate that will be the state.
Javier, just to provide comment, the standby generator is scheduled to arrive towards the end of July.
Okay. Before we move along, is there any way you could, someone could send Carrie Patterson the Zoom link to this new meeting? She just had the old one. She had a couple of questions on a couple of things, I forgot what it was. So.
Well, I thought Baldo might be coming. I could scoot a little closer.
No, you're all right. Keep practicing code in case it comes back.
Yeah, somebody was talking to me today.
Okay, we'll move along then to item 2, city reimbursement of eligible expenses and the construction update of the storm drain recharge retention basin project. So we got any information on that?
Thank you, Your Honor. So the similar but separate in this storm drain basin recharge. Reimbursement requests have been submitted for $1,003,614.95, has been reviewed for appropriate expenditures and approved by staff, subject to the board approval for the reimbursement.
Is there any comments or concerns with that one? That schedule matter? Anybody online? Okay, guess we'll keep moving along then. Item number 3, local roads and improvement.
If I may, so did we take an action to approve?
Oh,
We need to take
My bad.
actions on, that's why I was a little,
I don't know if you're waiting for her to come on.
yeah, I was kind of waiting for her to come on.
okay, I
Kinda
apologize.
dancing around each one because.
Okay, I'm like, wait a minute, did I miss?
I didn't even think you
Okay,
did
okay,
it.
good.
Yeah, my bad. I was just,
I was trying to text like Julia and stuff, so Julia's not on either. Yeah, so. I can barely walk and chew gum at the same time, so it's text and.
I don't want to scare John, so we'll just wait. Good tell. I'll take you on the rides with me.
Anybody want to filibuster on something? Sure.
Go ahead.
I know the next one is about road improvement coordination. This is similar coordination with the timing of West Street being Highway Road, Basin. Would we have sort of a logistics meeting on that, or how we're going to handle traffic before it actually happens? Being that it's not right in front of the casino, but that's obviously 2 blocks on the west is a important intersection. We've seen the traffic, it's 2-1. Twice as much traffic is in that intersection as Spring West. But still, yeah, we need to coordinate that. And just so we have proper signage, so I can let people know, not take 2 blocks, it's just go down the street. And then vice versa. Absolutely. Well, I'm talking about when West Street is being torn up. Yeah, I just need to just have some information, because obviously, where the new wild card is in the neighborhood, both of those really go. And the same thing, kind of thing is gonna happen in
then we could do the other ones and just wait.
That's now awkward stuff parking at night, and fruit stand, parking during the day. So that's one of those,
Yeah, Carrie Patterson. I'm not sure, she's not answering me anymore. I think we just. Yeah, just move along. So we gotta go back to one and take a vote. huh? I wanna go back to one, yeah, one, yeah. What is? Yeah, she's, is it 619?
619 San Diego, or it could be a cell phone, 480.
Yeah, okay. Let's keep moving. I'll bring it up another day. Let's go back then to schedule matters to number one, city reimbursement eligible expenses and construction update of the tertiary treatment wastewater facility collection system and recycle waste infrastructure project. How would you guys like to move forward with that? Got any motions or any?
Choose done, you're good? I make a motion to approve the reimbursement of the amount of $651,841.30.
And I'll second.
Okay, I got a motion for Mr. Beltran and second by Vernon Vera to reimburse the $651,841.30. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? 4-0-0. I vote aye. All right, moving on to item 2, city reimbursement and eligible expenses and construction update of the storm drain recharge retention basin project. How'd you guys like to move forward with that? Motions or any more questions or concerns?
I have no questions. I'll make a motion that we approve the bill, application number 4, invoice 497 for $1,003,614.93.
I'll second.
Okay, get a motion from Don and second by Vern to a reimbursement of $1 million and $3,614.95. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? 4-0-0. Okay, moving along. To item 3, local roads and improvement coordination. And this one, we had a little bit of concerns, Mr. McGoney.
We just need to schedule some sort of logistics meeting when it comes closer time, so we can probably notify the public and team members coming to and from the facility for work or for play. I'd just like to see the plan and how we're going to address it.
Is there any more questions or concerns for this item?
What I will say is that haven't heard anything for, part of this is the community project funding that Congressman Valadeo had set aside. There was $3.5 million as a budget item, which there's not been to date, any action by the committee, although it seemed promising. So just thought I'd provide that update.
Anybody else? Yes, Mr. Beltran? Better kick it out now.
Now go ahead.
Another question, we were just talking about the local roads and so, do we have a timeline yet on the roundabout and the temporary roads? Do you know what we're looking at? Proximity?
Yes, for the roundabout project, the design is at 30%. I need to talk with some details on the designer. As far as the environmental, there are a couple of studies being wrapped up, and the initial studies looking like it'll be ready to circulate in mid-July. So that's really clearing the path to engage a design consultant to design that West Street extension to realign the West and Scranton intersection over to the new Worth and West loop.
I did have a brief question on the 3.5. Does that hold up the timeline for any, no? Okay, that was just an addition funding? Okay.
So Measure R, regional funds are the primary funding source, and it is attempts to try to secure other grant funds so that those can continue to be used for other projects, specifically Teapot Dome. That'll be the next road of focus. That just is another $3.5 million that gets added to that project. So we're still cautiously optimistic. That's what I heard.
Does anyone online have any concerns or questions about that item, number 3? Guess not. I guess we can move along to item number 4 then, the two-day Tribe Active Transportation Plan update.
Last meeting, I presented what that design element is. So Four Creeks is currently working on the design for that. And again, that funding is a couple years out because it is a state ATP project. In addition to that, they're going to begin, and I believe that there'll be a coordination meeting either end of July into August with Four Creeks to begin phase 2 of that plan, which was out at the airport area in looking at interconnectivity between the casino, fairgrounds, and sports complex, and how those, how from an active transportation standpoint, encouraging pedestrian and bike travel in the airport area. So that, again, so at this point, the first part of that plan has been completed, which was specific to the reservation. The second part of it will be in the airport area. And then design is continuing on that. I believe it was $3.5 million for the 2 bridges, pedestrian bridges on the reservation. So that design work's currently continuing.
Are those phases in that order, or can they go like phase 2 can happen before phase 1, or it's all the same funding, so it all has to wait for that time frame?
So the $3.5 million?
What, no, because we're waiting on the state budget for those projects. Is that part of the 3.5? Is for the pedestrian bridge, the connectivity? Is that all that's separate, right?
So this has all been funded by TCAG. So TCAG funded the plan, which was to really do it, to be successful in funding, you have to have a plan, generally speaking. And so TCAG funded the plan, which from that plan, there was and this was kind of, I shared with you previously, this is because Tulare County is considered an urban county, not a rural county. The score that so the entire proposal for the reservation was submitted as a project to the state, and it scored very well. Had Tulare County been a rural county, it would have all been funded, and I want to say it was something like 12 million or a larger number. But because Tulare County is an urban, it even though it was a high score, it was like 3 points away from being funded. So because it scored so well, and because it certainly needed elements, TCAG had a certain pot, and there's what's called the state pot of ATP, and then there's the local pot of ATP. The state pot, let's call it 250 million, and then the local pot for Tulare County was 6 million, I think. So 3.5 of the 6 was programmed by TCAG to do the bridges on the reservation. And then there were other projects that all scored well. It was all based on scores too. This wasn't, it was looking at what were the highest scoring projects with the funds that you have available, like I said, of the 6 million, in which the pedestrian project, I think, was the highest scoring that wasn't funded. So finding how to, a part of that project, and I think that was a consideration back to the Tule River Tribe, what was the priority out of the different improvements, and it came back the bridges were the most important to the Tule River Tribal Council. So that's what's proceeded forward. The bridges are about $3 million, and then there's $500,000 in planning, design, permitting, environmental, those things that have to still occur, including NEPA. So there's going to be CEQA and NEPA on this as well. So, but in that plan that TCAG funded, it was 2 parts. It was up at the reservation and then in the airport area. Both of them part of one plan because of the tribe's reservation properties. But the priority was to get the reservation one complete, and that's what's now going on phase 2, which is to develop, what does accessibility, what does bike and ped accessibility look like in the airport area? That'll be and right now hasn't even really begun scoping. So, but in that will be.
Was cycle 4 or 5? You know, the ATP?
It
You know
was-
what cycle it was?
It was the last cycle.
Yeah, because I talked to one of the guys that we've been working with, named Jonathan Matz, he's a consultant for ATP, and he's the one that started the original project up there, but then we got hit with COVID and then the flood and stuff. So I'm glad it's kind of kicking up, but anyway, he's guessing that they may have another cycle that we're going to latch onto. But is it still going to be defined as Tulare County as an urban county? I mean, has that been addressed?
No, that's a state definition, and it has to do to population. So rural, and it's essentially to help rural counties be more competitive in urban counties. And I want to say it's like 500,000 is the cutoff. So, and I think Tulare County is just slightly above that. So we fall in what's called the urban, even though it's very rural, we fall in the urban category. So my belief is, and Javier, it's every 2 years, correct, is the cycles? Yeah. So certainly the preparation will be, how does the application, one for an airport, there will be multiple applications submitted to the state. And I think there will be a dedicated effort to ensure the next application that goes to the state, whatever those 3 points, how can we not just capture 3 points, capture 8? Try to get it in, not to make it a no-brainer for funding, and then whatever the airport area project is. And then the city will probably have other ATP projects. We've been very active in that space and successful. So there'll be a number, I would anticipate, so everything will go to the state. You have to go to the state first, and the hopes would be that the reservation, whatever wasn't funded out of that will be funded in that cycle 2 years from now. So that would be in 25.
Right.
But then the funding's always about 2 years later. It's about 2 years later. So from the award, from what we're doing right now, actual construction is 2 years after.
Okay.
Are you guys done making the meeting last longer?
I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet now.
I really like that question that, and to hear that we're working on the next round of funding in the application to try to get the score up to cover any gap, because there's probably going to be increase in costs and everything else by then too. So that's good that they're looking that far down the road for us. Yeah. Thank you. I have nothing else. Yeah.
Okay, here, I'll give you something, you can talk. We'll move on to other matters. Go ahead, sir. You got the floor.
Oh, nothing for the group. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
I'm good.
What about Mr. Lawless?
Did we do all the voting?
Yeah. Yeah, we do. Thank you for checking on that. Because Beltran would be asked. That's pretty much it. If you got any motions to adjourn to the meeting of July 21st, 2023, all right, that's the next meeting?
I motion to adjourn this meeting.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. You got a motion from Mr. Beltran to adjourn, time's 3:30 PM. Second by Reverend Vera. All in favor? Any abstentions? Any opposed? 400. All right, we're adjourned.